Hey everybody, and welcome to part 3 of the analysis between Clapham and CUSB La Fotta in the European Final. Clapham turn over with a fading away backhand huck from Foord to TC. The defender turns his head around to find the disc, thinking it's still with Briggs, but it's moved to Foord. The fraction of a second it takes him to clock this is all that Cartwright needs to bust to the end zone. The throw has more roll curve than Foord wanted, but if Cartwright had gone with his right hand instead of his left, he might have connected better. It's a fantastic full-speed bid though, and shows you what he's capable of.
I thought Cartwright was going to find a way to defy gravity and reality.
La Fotta move in a way which will either create a pick or makes it easy for Clapham to switch. The first is against the rules, and the second is bad practice. Clapham aren't prepping for the switch, so it's a pick, and this is around the 10th time this has already happened in this game. It's bad and it's stopping the flow, or occasionally it's being punished tactically through Clapham switching. Mead initiates contact with Mastriani, which is against the rules of the game, and the Maestro uses the contact to their advantage, which isn't specifically prohibited in the rulebook. A La Fotta pass in the middle goes up too hard and high. Alexis Long pivots inwards after catching, and hits Briggs up the middle, who has Ashley Yo in the front corner. Laffy counters Hillman's low and wrapping force with an undefendable flamingo throw. Webster gets beaten, but Hillman is aware and he poaches early, positioning himself where the cutter wants to go and not shying away from the contact. The La Fotta movement prompts Rowledge to switch off the back. Lewis isn't expecting the help and he has to loop back to guard his new mark. Instead of defending the space and being available for teamwork, he dives straight into the middle of the stack and initiates contact with the new mark. Had he been more aware and communicative, he could have been ready for the deep help, and then provided help to McHale and Rag under on the open side, with his positioning a second later. This was needed because Rag had earlier put a bid in. La Fotta tried to punish this by getting deep separation, and Clapham react well to neutralise it, which would have been great if Lewis was on the same page. I can't really blame him though, as Clapham have recently cited a lack of physicality on defence as a reason for players not making it through trials. Laffy gets fouled by Hillman for 6 continuous seconds, and then easily gets free by running in a circle at the right time. When the disc moves, Guglielmo Cini takes what the matchup positioning gives him on the break side. After a sniff from Rowledge, Cini catches and he instantly looks infield. This is brilliant, not just in terms of field vision and balance control, but it also looks to instantly cash in on the bid by Rowledge, finding the open player. Tonietti gets free by not cutting, just gesticulating for a quick pass, and scores in flow.
La Fotta players on offense. Catch, turn, throw. Immediately. Catch, turn, throw. Score.
At the start of this point, Justin Foord rightly calls foul on the physical defence. When Briggs catches the disc on the far sideline, all but one of his teammates are occupying a thin sliver of space on the field, limiting the offence's options and almost ending in a turn as Gordon attacks the disc late. The goal is made by a simple static deep throw from Mead to Yo, out to the space in front of him. This is the 5th time this possession that Yo has made a well-timed, threatening and viable deep cut. The man is a relentless scoring threat. Clapham run down the pool and begin poaching, sagging off the handlers and negating any set play that La Fotta had planned. This forces them to take lots of smaller passes, making slow progress until Clapham transition to one-to-one defence as the disc gets to around halfway. Rag uses his awareness to put in a poach bid. McNeil should switch and find Laffy. Instead, Laffy is left completely free, but instead of moving away from the defenders into the space, he moves towards them into a very crowded area. La Fotta score in flow, but by the narrowest of margins. In this point, there's immediately more clustering, crossing over, and defenders running into each other instead of working together. CUSB forcing middle, which means that Gordon is expecting a flick instead of a backhand and looks over the wrong shoulder. It should be a same third huck, which is slightly more difficult to throw, but just a little bit more float, and it was a fine option. Instead, it's the third turnover coming from Wilson's hands, who gets pulled off the O-line after this point. Foord switches to neutralise an undercut here, but Gordon is slow to pick up his new mark.
Yo might have got a touch.
You can see by Foord's communication that the switch needs to be reiterated. Someone calling switch with you should ideally be something that you're already expecting thanks to your field awareness, and secondly should be something that you react quickly and urgently to. Closing down your new mark rapidly is a good opportunity to get a block on the next throw from an unexpected angle. Wilson sees half an opportunity for a poach block and communicates to Mead, who flash poaches long enough to cover the open player. Clapham protect the upline threats on the endzone line and force the dump and swing. Magliavelo's cut is a textbook pick. There's an argument that the disc shouldn't be sent back here, but it stays in La Fotta's hands. The disc is checked in after a pick, and Tonietti expertly just throws the disc to the break side for a score. Wilson looks unprepared for the throw, but is this really his fault? Let's have a look at how the disc is checked in. Gordon doesn't check that his team is ready. He doesn't hold his hand up, visible to everybody, and then count down from 3, so none of his team have any warning when the disc is going to get checked in, and they're not able to watch the disc and their marks at the same time. The check is done quietly and privately, and it costs Clapham a break. This has been a really critical video, but I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're a patron and you want to chat about any of these topics, then get talking on Discord, and I'll see you for the next part.